Thank you to President Salve, Kimberly Goff Cruz, the Yale Veterans Association, the Color Guard, and everyone else who made this event possible. And especially thank you to all of you for taking time out of your busy day to honor Americans that fought in the armed services. I feel that Veterans Day is a peculiar holiday. Today is the day when our country traditionally shows its gratitude and thanks to the men and women who have served in the military, both past and present. But when we look at the human side of warfare, we're confronted with the brutality, suffering, and tragedy that is inevitably inseparable from it. It becomes easy to ask ourselves, what could we possibly have to be grateful for? And what thanks could we possibly give to those that would willingly take up arms against their fellow human being? But I have seen a different side of war and a different side of humanity. Because in the darkness of war, we're able to see the light of the human spirit. And we see it embodied in an ideal that we call brotherhood. But what is brotherhood? Simply put, brotherhood is absolute altruism. It is a mutual and reciprocal bond of love where one willfully puts the lives and welfare of their brothers above their own. It is an unshakable knowledge that someone wholeheartedly has your back, that they would unquestionably give their life in your defense, and it's the knowledge that you would do the same for them. Time and time again throughout history, the horrible cruelty of war has also been a testament of strength to this highest human virtue of brotherhood. We see it in the soldier who jumps on a hand grenade to save his squad, the Marine who rushes into a barrage of enemy fire to retrieve his wounded brother, and in 1,000 other but no less significant acts of self-sacrifice. I recall one afternoon in Faryab province, Afghanistan, when my platoon and our contingent of Afghan soldiers were patrolling through a village, and we suddenly came under heavy machine gun fire from a Taliban-held structure. As we all dashed behind cover, we realized that one of the Afghan soldiers had been wounded and was laying exposed in the open. Without hesitation, 2 of my teammates sprinted from cover and dragged him to safety. The Afghan soldiers would later marvel that we had risked 2 American lives to save one of their own. Certainly, they learned a valuable lesson about the meaning of brotherhood that day. It is this same timeless and enduring bond of brotherhood that connects those that fought in the battles of Marja and Fallujah to those that stormed Omaha Beach and back to Gettysburg, and further back to Lexington and Concord, and all the way back to the Spartans of Thermopylae and beyond. Though I use the masculine term of brother, we should certainly be clear. The woman piloting the Apache helicopter over my head that day, while our platoon fought our way through that village, was just as much my brother as any man could be. No, the bond of brotherhood is one whose love transcends the boundary of gender, preference, race, religion, economic class, and all other divisions that humanity can contrive for itself. It is to this undying bond of loyalty and honor, enshrined in the service and self-sacrifice of our fighting men and women, that we ought to pay tribute to today. So how are those of us here today to honor our veterans? To answer this, you need to understand the struggle that all veterans experience to one degree or another. Whether they have just returned home from deployment and will continue to serve, or have made the transition to a civilian life, veterans find themselves thrust into a world of turmoil. Many joined in the wake of 9/11, answering our nation's cry to never forget, only to return to a population that they feel has largely forgotten about them. They see a country more concerned for the lives of celebrities and pro athletes than for those of their brothers and sisters fighting and dying overseas. They come home to a country that doesn't seem to care enough about them to give them adequate health care. And they've been stigmatized to a point where they worry that everyone is going to assume that they're either broken, defective, or worse, a security concern. Furthermore, those that make the decision to leave the military often struggle to find new purpose and meaning in their lives, all the while wondering, who in this vastly different world that I'm in can I trust? Who has my back? Who are my brothers? But I don't believe the divide between veteran and civilian to be as great as it may initially appear. because every person here, whether they have served or not, can lay claim to a piece of that brotherhood. This is because every person who has ever served this nation raised their hand and swore an oath to defend you from all enemies, foreign and domestic, though they would probably never know you. They made a commitment to have your back. If we want to honor our veterans and do justice to them, what we need to do is simple. Show them that we care. Let them know that their service meant something. Talk to them and try to understand their experience. Be there for them. Have their back. If you find yourself at a loss for words, simply saying thank you for your service may speak more to that veteran than you could ever possibly understand. Many of you work with or have veterans in your classes, and there's a good chance that they're tattooed, outspoken, and maybe even come across as a little bit insensitive. But if you can look beyond the rough exterior, you find underneath one of the most fiercest, loyal friends anyone could ever ask for. And if you look long enough, you may realize that you found something else, a brother. I'll leave you with a quote from the great John Rambo. Speaking about the hearts of his fellow warriors, he said this. He said, "I want what they want, and every other guy who came over here and spilt his guts and gave everything he had wants, for our country to love us as much as we love it. That's what I want." Thank you.